Hey everyone, if you're new to this channel, so am I. I've just started this channel because I was shocked by a couple of recent reports on physicians' well-being. 50% of physicians and over 60% of nurses experience burnout, anxiety, and depression. If that is you, then this channel is created for you. I'm a health researcher and I help people with chronic disease reverse their chronic disease and recreate health with interventions that are based on 3 life principles. The first one is equanimity, a balanced mind. The second one is temperance, the consumption that we have. And the third one is vivacity, the liveliness that we bring in our own lives. Now, these are interventions that are based on past decade medical research. But essentially, you can bring it down to reducing or stopping systemic low-grade inflammation, because all chronic diseases, all common chronic diseases originate from low-grade inflammation, no matter what type of chronic disease. Now, when you want to treat symptoms, it's important to know the symptoms, but I help people that they can treat their own causes. When we look at what chronic diseases actually are, then the definition that, for instance, the World Health Organization gives, it's not merely the absence of diagnosed disease. It is health is the sense of well-being. Now, 6 out of 10 people in the US and in other Western countries as well, they have a diagnosed chronic disease, 1 or more diagnosed chronic diseases. So imagine the amount who has, on top of that, the absence of well-being. So therefore, I was shocked about half of the physicians having burnout and depression, and over 60% of nurses having such an absence of well-being. Of course, I was also interested in the chronic disease rates amongst healthcare workers. Now, there's not a lot of medical research about that, but what has been published is that physicians have lower prevalence of chronic diseases overall than average, but there are a couple of them that are significantly higher, like hypertension and hyperlipidemia and asthma are significantly higher under physicians than average. And slightly higher are COPD and hypothyroidism, peptic ulcers. So I have researched chronic diseases well over 20 years to find solutions for chronic diseases. And I know that when burnout, anxiety, depression, hypothyroidism, hypertension, asthma, what have you, if they are in your playing field, then chronic systemic low-grade inflammation is at play. And that is no good news, because it's the originator of the plethora of the common chronic diseases. So that is why I want to help you get better mental and physical health. How? Well, with those 3 principles. They are called principles. They're universal. Doesn't matter when we are in time, over those 3.5 billion years of living organisms, or where you are on this planet, or who you are. So these principles, they work for physicians and nurses as well. So what does that mean? Well, it means that we get more equanimity in our life, meaning that we learn and create the ability to respond more to stressful situations, like relating what is going on to just what it is and how we can work towards we think that it can improve instead of how it should be. Because when we look at our situation about how it should be, it's creating stress. It's creating a gap of not having enough time for patients, not having enough time for the admin, or not having the ability to look at the whole patient, or what have you. There are so many things, not having enough time for your own family. So there is a difference of reacting to what is going on in our profession or in our family, or taking a conscious decision after these 3 seconds of reaction. How do I want to be? How do I want to act? How do I want to behave? What is in the interest of where we want to go instead of how we have learned how it should be? Because when we put our attention on how it should be, we can never live up to it. So it always will create resistance and the feeling of us not being good enough. Although we work 12 to 14 hours a day, we can never be enough. So that is one thing that is maybe even the most important thing, to create equanimity, to learn how to have this equanimity in ourselves, to learn how to be more in control of our own life, our own mind, our own body, to learn how to be in this awareness and be able to make conscious decision all day, every day. And then secondly, it's also about temperance. It's about, because these crazy work hours, how can we eat healthy? How can we move enough? That is really difficult when you work a lot. I did that. I experienced burnout myself because I had crazy hours, like 14 hours a day. So how could you prepare a fresh meal? So that is also a thing that I really want to help you with. To how do you fit it in a day? How can you still have vital foods, nutrition foods, foods that give you life energy, foods that give you health, despite crazy days. And then thirdly is the vivacity, because even when we do not have time for the macro movements that take time to exercise and to shower and to change and what have you, there are a lot of micro movements that we can use to really use the nervous system, giving the brain the impression, or giving the brain the signals that all is well, and lower our stress levels. So that is the way that that I like to help you with on this channel. And although I am not a medical doctor, I'm not a nurse, I did work quite some years in hospitals, because I was leading organizational transformation in hospitals. So I can relate to the dynamics of hospital life and of medical care. And well, I do not have to make a pitch how important it is to have a vital medical staff, how important it is that physicians and nurses experience well-being, because kind of everybody knows the world depends on you. So I hope you realize that too. Sometimes it's difficult to realize for yourself that if not, and first and foremost, you have to work on your well-being for yourself. And secondly, for your family, who wants you to be present, who wants you to be present in mental and physical well-being, but also for all the other people, the ton of people that you can help, that you can support, that depend on you. So that is why I created this channel, and I really hope that I can contribute with little tips and tricks, with the huge life transformation that makes that you can live your life on your own terms again, not set by your profession, not set by the admin, not set by all the stress that comes in these professions, not set by your mental limitations or your physical limitations like half of you experience. No. Life by your own terms. Everybody deserves that. And when we are present for ourselves, we can be present for other people. And that is especially important for people who care for humankind. So I also want to help you nurture your purpose to help humankind. And that is what this channel is about. And I hope you enjoy.